beautiful people. I am going live with a new girls talk, and I'm going to talk to Sonja today. And I'm so excited because Sonja is a beautiful woman, and she's burning for the same topics that I'm burning for. And we're actually going to talk about a beautiful topic that, that's so dear to me, about sexuality. What a surprise! About sex is not about having an orgasm. And it's about so much more than that, but that is like one of the main important things for us, for me, and for her also, because a lot of times we're so focused on the one thing, we're goal orientated, and we always think that sexuality or sex is all about having and experiencing an orgasm, and it's not. And I think there's so many men and women out there that if they would take away from this stress and from this goal, they would experience sexuality in such a different way. So that's exactly what we are going to talk about, and I'm going to ask Sonja to join me. Let me see. Here we go.
Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for connecting us because only through you we are connected, and that's amazing. And it's so good that you're here. Here we go.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
I'm so in bliss and feeling like I have such an open heart. I just drank a cup of sacred cacao. Yeah. So I'm ready to dive into joy and bliss and sexuality and orgasmic abundance.
I love that. I'm the same. I'm just so excited that we are talking. I just realized how beautiful it is that Hannah actually connected us, and how our connection, like how we met. We didn't even meet before, really. We never talked.
Yeah.
And so I'm really excited that we get to connect today even more. Even so, I feel really connected to you already. Yeah.
I'm feeling the same. You're just such a goddess with everything that you share, what you are, what kind of magic you just birthed into this whole universe. So thank you for being you.
Same to you. And for everybody watching, as you maybe can hear, we are both not native speakings in English, so please be kind to us if we sometimes are looking for words. So let's just dive into this. Sonja, do you want to who are you and what are you doing and what do you burn for? Maybe that's a beautiful question. What is it that's really dear to you and what you burn for? Yeah.
Thank you for this amazing question. I'm Sonja Beatrice. I'm an open-hearted coach for intimacy and sacred sexuality. I love just diving into the essence of orgasmic being and abundance and just creating with this amazing life force the life you desire and the life you wish, and to just shed all the layers which are just holding you back from what you like really, really deeply desire. Even if it's like shame or thinking like you could be too much or any kind of that. Yeah, so I just love to guide especially women to their true essence, to their sexual being, for their to their intimacy with themselves, because intimacy for me is an inside state and not an outside look or an outside goal. Yeah.
I love that. And you said so many beautiful things already. So do you want to tell us what is sexuality for you?
No. Sexuality for me is being truly naked, like on every possible level. It means being physical naked, being emotional naked, being naked with all my emotions, even with the like hard ones. Because in our society we learned that anger or shame or anything needs to be inside and not to be experienced outside. So I just love getting naked on every level and to experience bliss out of it, because I just can be my true self, and sexuality is a way of connecting to this pure essence because at the end of the day, we just started with being sexual from the very first moment, from like conception. So that's for me like pure bliss to experience who I really am, like without the society conditions, without anything I have to prove or have to be or have to look. And sexuality is for me the most purest tool to experience this wholeness within me and in the whole universe with each other. Yeah, unconditionally.
I love that. You know what is so special about it? That there's nothing, like absolutely nothing in what you just said about the act of sex.
Yeah.
Like nothing. And that's huge, you know, because if you would ask someone what is sexuality, definitely they would say maybe two people coming together experiencing their sexuality, or maybe me experiencing my sexuality. But what you just said is just so much more, you know, and I love that. So how does having sex fit into this?
For me, having sex is one way of experience this abundance of bliss, this abundance of creative life force, and to just give it like a container where I experience myself with myself or with another human being, and diving into this and dedicating this whole moment just to the act of sexual interaction with myself or with another human being. But for me, it's so much more if you just open the door for sexuality, because in our society, we think that pleasure or bliss or playfulness is disconnected to our being, to our everyday life, and it's not. It can be integrated through an act of sex, through masturbation, all this kind of stuff. And I can dedicate all of myself to this moment, but I can just do it in my everyday life while I'm drinking coffee or tea, or while I make dinner, or while I'm just being with my son. So I can just dedicate and breathe everything just inside of me, because it's an inside state, not an outside state.
I love that. You know, what you're just, it's really similar to what like it's really dear to me, that I believe that sexuality is a lot about becoming really, really present.
Yes.
And just being. And I think the moment we become so present that we get to experience the magic that's always around us, that's when you get to experience pleasure. Like you just said, you know, you can eat, and you can really eat.
Yes.
And if you eat in a state of being really present, I've had like the most pleasurable moments, like they really turned me on just by eating a carrot and dipping it into the hummus, you know, the hummus. Just like feeling that.
I love
exactly.
that.
Exactly. And the cream, you know, and that for me is like, when you say that, that's the picture I receive, that this is sex, this is sexuality for me, and it's always here, and it's not only in the state of sex. And I think that's what, you know, what you mean with it also.
Of course.
Yeah.
And it's connecting to all of your senses. Like, what do you feel? What do you smell? What do you taste? Where is your hair touching your skin? Or where is your fabric touching your skin? Where do you feel naked? All this kind of stuff. What is your body language? Is it really like connected to your emotional state right now? Or are you in deep devotion and so you just bow? Or what do you do? What does feel like is real in this moment for you with all of your senses?
I love that. And I love Hannah writing. Hannah is like, keep on writing. She's like, what a bliss seeing two of my favorite women online talking about sex. And she's like, Alex, your Mallorca latte was pure ecstatic taste. Yes, baby. It's true. Huh? I love that.
There's one thing I really want to share, like,
go.
because you said something about just being very present in your body. And I think there's this misconception of our society that if we have an orgasm, we are like fulfilled, we are in bliss, we are in satisfaction. And for me, in my journey, there were like times where I had multiple orgasms, but I wasn't present at all. I wasn't fulfilled. I felt tired afterwards. I felt like, bored, I just grab my phone or whatever to just distract myself. So so an orgasm doesn't mean that we have like the goal. So it could be a part of it, but it doesn't have to be like this. And there's also this question of, what does it even mean to you to have an orgasm? Is it just this peak? Is it like a minute? Is it like a second? Is it like an hour? What does it even mean for you to have an orgasm? What does it feel like to you? And is it connected to just one moment, or is it connected to your being, or what is it to you? Because we just learned how it should look like, or should be like, or should sound like, and that's not even close to the true nature of every individual being. It can't be.
Nah, it's true, and I love that. And you're just already diving into something I really want to talk about: the difference between being orgasmic and having an orgasm. And it's like exactly what you just said, I think, because there's a huge difference.
Yes.
You know, we grow up thinking sex is all about experience and orgasm. I believe you are giving away the most powerful energy ever if you orgasm, and it can be great. I love orgasming. Sometimes I just love to have a superficial orgasm.
Yes.
But it's not all a quick one. Yes, exactly. I love it, but it's not all that. So like for me, and I really want to know what it is for you, being orgasmic is like, if I am like so present, then touching my skin like so slow can get me in a state of being so orgasmic that I can hardly hold the energy inside, and it's so blissful and pleasurable. So I'm not having an orgasm then, but I am like, I'm in a state of something of fuck, like every cell is like enjoying this, you know, and that's just one thing. So like that's like, I think that's one of my explanations. What does it mean for you to being orgasmic? What does Hannah say? Oh, going to my goal now. You're both such great coaches. Love you. Great coaches. Hannah, we love you.
We love you so, so much. Thank you for being you.
So what does it mean for you to being orgasmic?
For me,
what's the difference also? Yeah, for you.
For me, like there is this thinking of, if I have an orgasm, I achieved a goal. So when you just open the door for just an orgasm, it's like you don't open the door for a no of your body. So like you give away so much of possible options, of feelings, of emotional states, because you just focus on the goal. Because for me, sometimes it's like, I feel like, oh, I want to dive so deeply into my self-pleasure. I want to just flow into it, connect myself to the whole universe. And then I stop before I even orgasm, because I'm just taking a bath inside all of this wisdom, and I just receive so much of content, of things I want to create, of things I want to share. So I just give up the idea of I have to reach this goal, because before I even came near to this stage, I was just receiving so much wisdom, which just was not from this earth, and I needed to ground it. I needed to take time to journal, and this was so much more important for me than just reaching the orgasm. So for me, every evening I dedicate myself to my orgasmic being, and sometimes it means that I orgasm, but sometimes it means I'm just laying naked in my bed, and sometimes I put like a Yoni egg on my heart, and I just feel it, and I breathe very, very deeply, and I try to just let the energy of my blood circulate through my body, through every cell of my being, and to experience myself fully, because then I can receive. Then I'm really opening up, because if there's a no from my Yoni for putting anything inside, outside, whatever, I receive it and I honor it. And that's even like a must. If you even want to reach an orgasm, at one point you need to honor your no from your Yoni. There's no way around it.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so much in that. One thing I want to go into the know of the Yoni, but you know what I loved is what you're talking about is that sexual energy, and that's what I believe. Like it's like a synonym for life force energy,
Yes.
and it is like an awesome synonym for creative energy,
Yes.
because like in your sacral chakra, in the sexuality, this is where your creativity comes from.
Yeah.
And what you are just sharing is exactly that the moment you let your energy flow, like your sexual energy, and sexual energy is like forget about the idea that sexual energy means that you are like having sex.
Yes.
It's energy that's always inside.
Yeah.
You're speaking this to everyone else, and it means like if you let this energy flow, that's like right here, I'm doing this because this is where your chakras are and this
Yes.
is where the energy flows. That's what you mean. That's what Sonja means. If you're opening up to this energy, then you get so creative. And then you can, this is like when it's so powerful to visualize also, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you just can change your whole life with it, because it's life-serving energy, because it creates life. So you can use it for every single aspect of your life. If it comes to money, if it comes to relationship, if it comes to forgiveness, you can just decide where you want to put your meaning into. And then you can just let the magic flow. And I just love it because it's life-changing to me to experience that and to share it with the world.
It is. How do you hear me really well? When I speak, I always feel I hear myself twice.
No, I don't hear
okay?
yourself twice. I don't know if it's
okay, good.
different for the others, but I hear yourself normally.
Okay, good. I think then it's fine. It's just me. But Sonja, what, like if people are listening now to us, or beautiful women or men, and they are like, oh, this sounds great, but I know it's like for a lot of people, if you've never been there, this sounds like so far away. How can you, like, do you have one really simple thing, how can you get in touch with this energy inside of you?
I think for me, the most easiest way is to focus on your breath. Like breathing in very deeply and to give it meaning of I'm receiving the energy with every breath inside of my heart, and I open up, and with every exhale I just let it circulate through my blood, and I'm just trying to be present in every single cell of my being, just to be like very connected to your senses, and give yourself very much time and space. Like, don't rush yourself, slow down, because then you can just really dive into yourself. And maybe you can allow yourself or give yourself the permission to even receive pleasure in the very, very little things. For example, when I drive with my car and I feel like, oh my God, I need pleasure for myself. Sometimes I'm just touching my hair and I'm like, all right, that feels so good. I'm just slowing down. I just receive the simple thing. It's like, even if you wash your hair, are you just doing it like disconnecting from your body, or are you like really feeling the touch of yourself, feeling every hair of yourself, and trying to receive it like very, very deeply?
You know, when you just did that, I got like my whole body reacted to that, because I imagine, because I can feel doing it. I feel the pleasure. And I think, you know, what shifted for me also was exactly like being really present and then allowing myself, it's a decision you take, allowing myself to feel pleasure in doing that.
Yeah.
It's a decision. It really is a decision that I'm allowing myself, if I do that, allow myself to, oh my gosh, like maybe in the first, like when you first start, it's going to be like more from your head, telling yourself this feels pleasurable, but you will see them. You can really allow yourself to feel pleasure for these things, you know,
and you
because
can,
it's there.
And for this moment, you can give yourself the permission to forget everything you've learned once about pleasure, about society, what it should look like, what it should feel like, what it should sound like. Just for one moment, give yourself permission to just throw it out the window.
Definitely. If you want it back, you can invite it back, but maybe you don't. And I think like an invitation to everyone who's listening now or later, just try it out. Try to do whatever you're doing tonight or tomorrow, to do it with as much pleasure as you can. If you go underneath the shower, like seeing all the water drops on your skin can be so pleasurable.
Yeah.
Or really watching the water like running down your body, just whatever you do, feeling the warmth in your skin. That's just one example. Try to do one thing today or tomorrow with so much pleasure as you can, and allow yourself to feel pleasure. I think that's like one way into this, what we mean when we say that sex is not about an orgasm, but it's about like this state.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. I just love it.
Yeah. It is. And you know what? It's so beautiful. What I just realized when you talked, there was like, this is when sexuality becomes like something like a meditation. It is the meditation. It's like kind of like that, right?
Yeah.
It's a beautiful act of meditating because you slow down and you really feel, and you dive within. Yeah.
It's such a sacred way of being. And for me, being orgasmic means also to just throw everything out of the window which is connected to a kind of act, how it should look like, because it can look like very slow, and it can be very slow, but it can also be kinky. So there is no rule to it. It can be just for yourself, and it can be with 2 or 3 other beings. So it's up to you, as long as you know where your boundaries are. So like, be very clear to yourself. What do you want to experience, and how should it look like, and where are your boundaries? Because you need to honor it in order to be safe in your nervous system, to even receive it. So create a space of safety for yourself, where you feel like you can hold yourself with everything that shows up.
I love that. You know what? You said something so beautiful just now. And I think that's like the most important thing. In order to experience any kind of sexual act, being it kinky or whatever it is, you need to know yourself really, really well. Because if you don't know yourself, then how will you know what you want, what your desires are, and what your boundaries are? And that is like rounding up everything we already said, is that you can only learn that if you become so present that you're listening to your body and you know your sexuality yourself really well. And I think that's something that's so important for you also, is that sexuality starts with yourself. And, I think you need to really, really, really have a sexual relationship to yourself first before you open up to anything else.
If you look up the definition of intimacy, it's actually the most inwards, like the farthest from the outside, the most inwards. So it really starts with yourself, with your essence, with your roots, and you need to allow yourself to discover them. And if you feel shame around something, and at the same time a desire for it, so be like very gentle with your process. Don't rush, don't push yourself into something which doesn't feel safe. Because for me, there's one golden rule. If it's not a full body yes, it's a no.
Yeah, thank you. Amen. I love that. I love that. And that's so true. If it's not really, like everybody listening, if it's not a holy hell yes, then it's a no.
Yes.
And you can play with maybes later.
Yes.
Maybe you can, but if it's a maybe, then it's a no for now, but it doesn't mean it has to stay that way.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. I love that. And you said something earlier, something beautiful earlier about exactly that it's also like, that we learn to listen to our Yoni.
Yes.
And for everybody who doesn't know Yoni, the Yoni, what we mean with it is actually, it's all, Yoni is like a Sanskrit word for all the sexual organs. It's like not only your pussy or your vulva, whatever you want to call it, but it's like this whole, also your womb space.
Yes.
But that's just like a side definition. How, I think, I lost track. I think this is so important that we get in touch with our Yoni, and also with your lingam, with your penis, if you're listening as a man, to get to know her and to know your boundaries. I was talking to a beautiful woman in a coaching, and she had the question, how I don't know if she's ready. And you know what I think? If you don't know if she's ready, then she's not, because
Yes,
you're going to know that
exactly.
she's ready.
It's like if she's like seeking something or even searching for it, then she's ready. Like even if you wanna work with an Yoni egg, she's
I love
actually
that.
pulling it inside a little
Yeah.
bit if she's ready, if she really feels it. And that's the same if it comes to sex with yourself or with another human being. Like if she's really ready for it, she will tell you, because she's like, give me that pleasure, I want it.
How do you what did I want to ask? Shitty. I had a beautiful question about exactly that, what you just said. I forgot about it. Shitty.
Just
It was about how can you get in touch with that? You know, how can you practice you know, understanding your yoni? How can you know, like if you don't know, how can you actually for yourself I think it's that. I think I got that. I got it now. I got it back. Like if a woman, you know, she says she's not ready, what can I do in order for her to get there? What would you say? How can I get my yoni more ready? Do you know what I mean?
For me, it's like there are like 3 very important body parts. One of it is the yoni, but one of it is your heart space and your throat space, because the vagus nerve is just connecting all of it, and it's one nerve that just regulates our unconsciousness and our breath and our heartbeat. So if you really want to connect to your yoni and you want to do it like very, very slow, just take a moment to really connect to your voice and to your throat, and just ask yourself, where do you give yourself permission to speak your truth, to like really give yourself expression, to give your wisdom, your inner wisdom, a space of being seen, being spoken. And then there is the second part, like the heartbeat.
How do you do that, love? How can you do it if I'm with myself? Yeah.
There are some techniques you can do for calming your nervous system if you feel like you're very nervous. There's this beautiful technique of pussy breathing, where you really connect like to your whole body, and you focus on your yoni, and while you inhale through your nose, you just get the image of like pulling something together inside your yoni, and you just go into the archetype of the queen. So like you just give yourself permission to rise, to be high, and you inhale through your nose, and then you hold for a second, and with your exhale you just make your lips flutter, like, and you just let go of all the tension you got, and you push your womb space just like a little bit forward. Yeah. And you just let yourself be like very relaxed. You just allow your whole nervous system to calm, to like really be in your body. And you can even take a moment when you're like really curled up to just feel how it feels for you. And this is like, because of the vagus nerve, it's connected the throat exactly to the womb, and you can even give yourself the permission to just give your beautiful face a massage, or to just lay your hands on there and to just send some love to your throat, to your voice, and at the same time to your womb space, to your yoni. And if you want to connect very deeply to your yoni, and you think like you got the first steps, then you can also lay just one hand on your womb space and one, for example, of your heart. And I love taking a crystal and put it either on my womb space, but not just on the yoni itself, like a little bit up at my pelvis, or at my heart, and just to breathe it in and to feel it. Like, can I try to connect those places within my body? Can I try to connect my heart with my yoni? And what does my heart tell me, or what does my yoni tell me? What does she need? Is there anything she wants to be seen? And allow yourself,
that is so beautiful.
How crazy it sounds, to just receive and listen without conditions, without what should be right or wrong, to just listen.
Your yoni is gonna reply to you. That's the thing, you know, she will, and that's the beauty. And I love what you just also said about the throat, you know, because, you know, I can add to that I have 3 basic elements that are so important for me if you want to get in touch with your sexual energy, and they are your breath, your voice, and movement.
Yeah.
And these 3 things, like, also when you're having sex, if we are conditioned to a lot of times not use our voice and our breath.
Yeah.
A lot of times a lot of people while having sex, they don't use their breath, and they don't use their voice. They don't moan. You cannot hear them while you're having sex. Yeah. And I think that's exactly the thing.
Sad,
that
because you just
it's so sad.
Out. So much.
And the energy gets blocked exactly here. Like, it gets blocked, imagine. And that's the thing. If you want to, I think it adds up to using this also. If you want to connect to your yoni, start like what I usually do. If I am not, I start moving. I start like, you know, just like in a sexy way, you can just start moving, or start breathing loudly. Like, for example, like, or even moaning, like, you know, like these so things, beautiful. They open something up here, and that's also what the yoni will react to that.
Yeah. And for like moaning, I think it's so interesting that if you watch some porns, the moaning is like very, very high, like, and like, I don't have breath. It's like always like you got choked. Or something. And if you like really deeply want to connect to your womb space, moan deeply, allow yourself to be in the fears, to be like very grounded. Because there's so much opening up when you moan like very deeply. I learned it during my apprenticeship for being a doula, that it opens up the pelvis if you moan like very deeply instead of very high, because then you're in the headspace and not in the yoni. Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. See, that's the thing. Like, unconsciously, we are learning something. We are not questioning it, and we are doing it, but it brings us so far away from like the real energy, the real sexuality. Yeah. That's beautiful. Let me see. I wrote down, I never do this, but there's so many things I wanted to talk to you about. I think we talked about so many beautiful things already. Do you have something else that is like so burning there right now for you that you want to share with the beautiful women and men also about, you know, I think we are so conditioned. Like, do you have anything you want to share?
Like, for me, one topic that comes up again is like the breath, because I just recently noticed that there's a difference if I breathe from my yoni upwards or from my crown chakra downwards. Because if I breathe downwards, I feel like I earth myself so much more. And for me, it's very important to earth myself enough when I open up to all these energies, because otherwise I can get lost in the cosmic abundance, because I feel like, oh, it's so beautiful, I'm home, home sweet home. So I need to ground myself. So sometimes it's so serving for me to breathe from my crown chakra downwards, and I can like really feel that my yoni is reacting by pushing the energy, and it feels for me like I'm birthing something. And that's such a deep connection to all my visions, my projects, my programs, my workshops, to be really birthed into this earth. So this is very important for me if it comes to crystal wands and all this kind of stuff, because it doesn't need to be inside of you. Because if I breathe from my crown chakra downwards, I don't feel like I want to have something inside, because I want to really feel like birthing something out of me into this beautiful earth. So that's some technique that's like very recently so important to me, so much.
And I love that you just said that, because that, I think, something that you can add, it's different, but you can add to that, is that sexuality has a lot to do with being grounded,
Yes.
and also with feeling safe.
Yeah.
When you're looking at the first chakra you have is the root chakra. And what I learned for myself is, if your first chakra is blocked, if you don't feel safe, if you feel stressed, for example, whatever it is, then really imagine how is the energy supposed to go from there to your next chakra, the sacral chakra. And I think a lot of sexuality has to do with you feeling safe and grounded. And that helps a lot. Also, what I do a lot is actually connecting to my pelvic, the pelvic area. And what I do is I actually really I feel me sitting there, and I start breathing into the pelvic. And I really breathe into there, and I imagine me with every breath going deeper and deeper and deeper into my pelvic. And the moment I do that, it's I really connect. I'm really earthy. And then if you're tapping into your sexuality, it's different. Because it's a fire energy. And I think it's exactly what you said, just from a different angle. A lot of times we are just so much in the head, and we are connected to all of everything there. We need to, especially as women, we need to really be earthy. We need to I do the same. I'm and I'm pushing down there.
Just
so I love
needs be grown into our earth, from your pelvis, from your yoni. And that's so beautiful, because for me there was a time where I was really struggling with earthing myself, because for me it's so easy to open up to all this energy. I'm a very energetic sexual being. My first orgasm was an energetic orgasm. I wasn't even touching myself, and I remember it. So for me this is very easy, and especially because of it, I need to ground myself very, very much, and I need to take care of my body very much. So when I know I'm opening up very, very cosmic spaces, I prepare food for myself, or I do have a special playlist which just very earthy to me, or some how do you call it, essential oils for grounding, so that I really come back into my body. And for everyone it's different. So if you feel like you're very cosmic, very energetic, be very aware of earthing yourself, walking barefoot or whatever serves you. Be playful with yourself, but be aware of it, because it can be very hard to ground yourself when you have been very much into the energies.
And I think there's so many amazing tools, and it helps us. I mean, it helped both of us. We both had beautiful people that inspired us, and it is helpful if we grow up in an environment like this, in a society. We do need inspirations coming from a different source that help us to get out of the shit that we have in our mind. I'm sorry for the word, but it's true. Really get it's true to get into to really experience what sexuality can be about. And we do need role models for that, because otherwise how are you going to know, right?
You don't. By figuring out on your own somehow, but somehow is not enough.
It's helpful to get inspiration. I mean, I do all the time, and I did a lot. Right. And there was one more thing that just came to my mind. Hold on, we were talking about rooting yourself, and what is it today? I think I had a long day. I forgot what I wanted to say, but it's fine.
Intuition knows. We don't have to know from a headspace. So whatever is serving today is coming through you.
It's true. That's true. I do have another thought that's just coming. I think also if we I mean, most of women, you know, work like 8 hours a day. So what we do is we are always in our head.
Yeah.
And obviously we are not connected to the body anymore. We are not grounded. And, you know, that just adds up to what we just said. And I think the first tool, if you want to experience sexuality after a working day with yourself or with your partner, you know, it's not about just starting and like, you know, it's just like falling into sexuality, but it can be to put on music and to start dancing, but like do something that brings you into your body.
Embodiment is the key.
Yeah, it is. And that's what I love, is like just saying that sexuality starts somewhere else. It's not only starting kissing and going somewhere, because you are going to be in your head, and you're going to, from your headspace, you're going to try to experience sex. And it doesn't work. You've got to get into your body first. So try to forget that sex starts with sex. It starts somewhere else. It starts with embodiment. It starts with feeling yourself, with rooting, whatever it is, meditating, anything, you know, and then from there you can go wherever.
So it's so important to explore yourself, your kind of connection to your sexual energy. How do you find it like the easiest to connect to your essence, to this life force, to your creativity? Is it through dancing? Is it through mirror work? Is it through a massage? Or what is it like for you? Because if you know, then you can integrate it so much easier. And one like huge part is the part of communication with yourself. Like, how do I communicate with myself about being sexual or being orgasmic or whatever? What is it like that I tell myself, and how is it possible to be in a very serving, loving way with myself, with my communication, and with a partner? Because it's also about boundaries, about desires, about hidden aspects. And that doesn't mean that if I have a desire that my partner has to do it. Like, no, that's not the way. Like, there's so much more. And it can be that, like, if I start a communication about a hidden desire, that just this conversation with my partner can open up so much intimacy between us, that it's not about this practice or this desire or this fantasy or this kind of kink anymore, but about this conversation.
It's like, it shows again that it starts somewhere else. And communication, it's such a huge tool. I think we can have like a whole talk about communication. Because the word is communication in the first place. You know, you can communicate with, like you said, with your body, with your yoni, but with your partner. But it's so true. It can be so intimate to talk about like these things. And that's just like how it's probably Natasha, huh? I think so. Just said so and should not talk. Yes, you know. Thank you, beautiful. Yes, I thought so too. And we already talked like 45 minutes, and it's like flying like this. But I feel like, I think this is such an important talk. I really, 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 really want to, like, I want to send this to as many women as possible, because I think so many women and men need to hear this, because it's so important, you know, it opens up so much. And I'm so grateful for you, and that we got together, and you inspired me a lot. Like, there's so much, you know, I got to learn today from you and your wisdom.
Thank you from the bottom of my heart for your loving words, for you just being you, giving the gift of you into this world. And you're such a deep and pure inspiration for myself as well, with your magic that you share, with your vulnerability. It's just such a blessing to have a woman in my field, which is so connected to her wisdom, to her authenticity. How do you say?
Yes.
Yeah.
Authenticity. Yeah, like that, I think.
To her, just being her with all of the aspects, with all of the emotions, because that's so important for intimacy. Yeah.
Thank you. I can give everything back to you, and I think that's the thing. We do need women like this who inspire us. You know.
Of course.
Because I mean, if you do this work also, you're going to see that not everybody likes it, you know? Definitely not. Oh, wow. Thank you. And thank you so much, everybody who was watching.
Yes.
Who is still there? Like, I think there were a few of you, like, listening to the whole talk. I don't know, maybe you want to give us a small sign. What do you feel right now? How was it, like, what is, like, present inside of you right now? Maybe you want to share that with us. And we're going to wait 1 more minute. It would be amazing to hear from you. How did it make you feel? What could you take from it? Or, like, maybe even what's present in you right now in this moment?
I just want really to share my gratitude for all of those human beings who are with us today and all the energetic field, because there are so many women right now connecting with each other and talking about this topic with each other. And I think it's so important. I just feel so blessed to be able to be here right now and to just share all of the magic and the wisdom of the world. And thank you for listening, for watching us, for just being there.
Yeah, and everybody who's listening, like, from the people that know me, please go check out Sonja. I'm going to definitely tag you, because the things you do, they are so magical. They really come from a really, like, a magical place of being, and they are so inspiring. So yes, it's a must, really, if you want to connect to your femininity, to your intimacy, to your sexuality, to your being.
Thank you so much. I really honor all of you.
Me too. All right, beautiful. I think there's nobody going to comment, but that's completely fine.
Yes.
It's also fine to go with your flow right now. Thank you for being here. And Sonja, 1,000 kisses to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh, here we go.
I don't see the comments,
Thank
so
you.
if you could let me know, it would be awesome.
Why? That's strange. Yes, I will. Okay, so Natascha is saying, I will read it in German real quick and then translate it. Es hat mich total erreicht und es ist so wahr, sehr spannend, auch mit der Atmung und Erdung.
Yeah.
So, she's saying that it completely reached her, and it's so true. It was really interesting. Also, like, about the breathing and the rooting and the earthing. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much for sharing that with us.
Thank you for showing yourself and sharing your love.
Yeah. Thank you a lot. All right. So to you, Natascha, and to you, Sonja, and to myself, thank you for being here. You have a beautiful evening, and talk to you very soon.
So much magic to you for today and
Yes,
for your life
to you
and for
too.
every second.
Yes. Bye, love.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.